Welcome back to BTV News. I'm Jonathan Hernandez.
And I'm Annette Herrera.
It has been an interesting school year with the pandemic, with COVID-19. How has the pandemic affected you? For me, I just stay inside more.
Honestly, me too. I basically stayed home, watched a bunch of movies, watched a million TV shows, but COVID-19 has made it more difficult for all of us to do our hobbies.
But even during this crazy year, we can see how Buena High students can still dance, play soccer, cosplay, and more.
Today, we are going to hear how students can still do their hobbies from home.
Since we are in quarantine, some of our favorite hobbies have been harder to enjoy. One in particular is movie watching. Movie watching has always been a hobby where people can sit down in a theater and watch a film with their friends. But ever since the pandemic hit, it's been harder to do that.
Theaters are closed, and I feel like that's a big part of the movie watching experience, going into theaters, seeing trailers for other movies that you might want to see, and just watching, a movie in general. But I feel like now it's more on streaming devices and things like that. So when I see a trailer for a movie I want to watch, it's like, heck, I might not see this movie because I don't know where it's going to come out.
Since movie watching has changed, people have found new ways of watching their favorite movies in their own home.
Before, I was able to go to the movie theater and watch them with my friends, and now I have to sit on my couch by myself and watch them.
During the pandemic, I actually bought a projector for my backyard so that I have essentially set up an outdoor movie theater so that I can still kind of have some friends over and we can be socially distanced outside, watch a movie together.
Who knows how long this pandemic will last, but we know that this is the best time to be watching movies. So sit on that couch, make some popcorn, and enjoy watching new movies at home just like you would at theaters.
Dancing is an important hobby to many people. With the ongoing pandemic, this hobby has been affected in a few ways. Last year has been a year of challenges, one of them being the pandemic. Many things got affected, which includes dancing. Changes were made to respect safety guidelines and keep everyone as safe as possible.
So the pandemic has had its struggles for us, for sure. The regulations, the way we have to operate in the studio with social distancing, our temperatures being taken, training in the masks, sanitizing, not being able to use certain things, yes, being able to use certain things.
Safety wasn't the only thing affected. It also affected the dancers who participate.
I'm a senior auditioning for BFA programs into dance colleges, and it affected me where I can't go out and audition personally for those programs. I have to submit videos and can't really show who I am to them. It's just through video.
Though, this didn't come without some positive silver linings.
I have more time to do dance in my free time at home, and I think I've really grown by coming in and doing more extra stuff than I used to.
Now, all there is left to do with many dancers is to keep working hard, hoping they'll be able to perform again.
Whoa, that was some cool dance moves. Students are super talented.
You know who else is talented? Our teachers at Buena.
Oh, totally. For years at Buena, our very talented Chef Avalos has been working with Chef Kimberly, and now Chef Avalos finds herself working with a brand new, prestigious chef, Chef Menintro.
At Buena High School, we have a new addition to the culinary program. Mr. Thomas Menintro will be joining Chef Avalos, who has been working at Buena for over 10 years.
Mr. Menintro, he is a wonderful addition to our culinary department, but we have a lot of good ideas, and we work off each other, and it's kind of been fun to work with him.
Following Chef Avalos is Chef Thomas, who has worked in fine dining restaurants in France and DC. And now Mr. Menintro is reinventing himself by working at High.
Originally, I'm from France, grew up and born there, and as of almost 5 years ago, moved to DC, and then moved here to Georgia. So we got sent off here, so obviously there was no fine dining in town, so I had to reinvent myself, and I love the time that I'm spending at Buena, and I think it's absolutely a fabulous and amazing experience.
Obviously, we are all living through a global pandemic, so it is really easy to be discouraged. But the new addition to Buena High School is definitely a win. We are so excited to have Mr. Thomas Menenthrow join our Buena High School culinary team.
Have you ever wanted to dress like your favorite character from your favorite video game or TV show, and you don't want to buy it off Amazon? Have you considered maybe making that costume? Well, this Buena High School student did.
During quarantine, many people have started new projects or hobbies, and for Parker Crowley, it was no different. Except for Parker, he is aiming to stand out.
So my most recent project has been this Phase 2 helmet, which was entirely 3D printed, and I have had to spend about 2 to 3 weeks on it, per se, of just nonstop sanding and then covering it what's called Bondo, so it fills the 3D print line. So this is an entire 3D print that was shipped to me in 3 pieces, and I have glued the pieces together, filled it with Bondo, and cleaned up these seams.
The process of preparing 3D printed parts is long and tedious, but if done properly, can make a project really shine.
I've been doing cosplay for around like 6 months, I think, since May of 2020. The most important part of cosplay work is having creativity and actually taking pride in your work and just having fun. Because if you're not having fun, there's really no point to it. And you can see my work on Instagram at Clone Trooper Zeros.
In life, everything that's good takes work, and after hours of sanding and painting, Parker can finally enjoy the fruits of his labor. If you want to make one for yourself, the raw prints and 3D files are for sale on galacticarmory.net.
Since the start of the pandemic, teachers like Mr. Suchadolsky have been hard at work trying to help their students create cool projects from home. With the closure of in-person school due to the pandemic, teachers like Mr. Suchadolsky have been hard at work trying to teach their students.
For me to be teaching virtually, well, teach art and is difficult. You know, people are in here, we do things hands-on. I show people how to do certain things. I can go around the classroom and help them out, check out what they're doing, give students feedback.
Despite some difficulties, he's been able to help his students create some cool projects from home.
Well, for one thing, we have to just use materials here at home because, I know since it's the art class that the teacher pretty much supplies us with all the materials we would need, but since we're at home, we basically have to use all our own materials. We're still able to make a lot of different art projects, though. I've learned how to make a self-portrait, first and second perspective. And then we've just been learning how to make a whole bunch of different art projects. And I know we just recently been trying to do more abstract artworks as well.
He looks forward to seeing what his students will create in the coming semester and watching their skills grow.
Band has always been a big part of many students' lives. But with the pandemic going on, how do they feel and why?
I can't interact with the other people. It's kind of just another class. It's all kind of just mediocre. I don't get to march at all. It's overall just a bad situation.
But it's not just the band's students. The director also has to adapt to the new online form. So how has he changed his curriculum?
So the way I've adapted curriculum in this year is we've been working a little more individual stuff, individual musicianship. Show band actually used to record an album every single year. Hold on. Right here. They used to actually make albums, like full-on albums. And this year we'll actually have 8 tunes from show band and 7 tunes from the jazz band, and we're calling it Quarantunes.
That's good. I like that.
The other option we're looking at is possible like a drive-in kind of thing. We have access to an FM transmitter. So we're thinking about that, where maybe we do something out in the parking lot. We're bringing the fine arts. We just don't know when and where, but we'll make it happen.
Hopefully sooner rather than later. Until then, we will have to continue with what we're doing now.
The pandemic has made a big impact among all our winter sports teams. As all thought all hope was lost, Buena recently came out allowing our winter sports teams to be able to play during this kicker season. During the start of the semester, no one expected our winter sports teams to be able to play. Everyone was full of down emotions because they wanted to gain that experience to be able to unite our school. But after all the wait and despair, Buena has finally allowed for our teams to be able to play during this winter season.
Well, at first I kind of expected it to happen because COVID-19 going around and all that. And, everybody was just getting corona. And if we probably did it, it would have been not that good. Probably could have spread even more.
Due to the season at first getting canceled, everyone had to find ways to work around it, such as going back to their club teams or doing work from home. But now that the season is back, they are able to go back to their normal routine.
It's twofold. I'm a parent and a coach. I have a senior on that team, so it was pretty tough to realize that he'd lost his senior season after building up to that. And as a coach, I was disappointed for all the boys because it was a good opportunity to see all the best players in our community come together and represent our school. So I was heartbroken for them as well.
Coach Steve was trying his hardest to give us our season back. He desperately wanted his team to be able to have a season and for his seniors to have a chance at scholarships. As soon as the season got uncanceled, Steve went straight into the training to help our team get ready for its season. Let's go, Colts.
Ricky has developed a real passion for weightlifting and dedicated time to going to the gym.
So basically, it was summer after my freshman year, and I went up to my uncle's house in Yuma, and my uncle used to be a bodybuilder and he was in the Marines, and basically I asked him if he could get me into weightlifting because I was pretty bored. I didn't really have anything going on. I just wanted like a hobby. But this hobby turned into a huge aspect of my life now, and I'm really glad that I started when I did.
Believes that a person's daily activities should include weightlifting or some type of physical activity. We managed to get an interview with Coach Thomas from the football team.
Anything that you make stronger is going to last. They talk about durable, vehicles. If you put a vehicle together and it's not very strong, it's not very sturdy, it's not built to last.
I've had days where I just don't want to get out of bed, but in the back of my head, I'm just like, you need to get up, just go do what you need to do for the day, go to the gym, and I'll be like 10 minutes into my session and I'll thank myself for even being there. And I think that's huge for me. Looking back 2 years from now, before I started lifting, I was very low self-esteem, wasn't doing anything, and now that lifting is a big aspect of my life, it's just cool. Yeah.
Even with most events or competitions being cancelled, some still manage to continue on. Take the JLab competition, for example.
Despite this new and trying time, programs such as JROTC are still striving to give students new and interesting challenges such as JLab. But what is JLab, you may be wondering?
So JLab stands for the JROTC Leadership and Academic Bowl. And it's an event that we do every year where all of the JROTC create teams to compete in the academic and leadership categories to then advance to the second and then the national levels of competition.
There are 3 levels to the JLab competition: Level 1, Level 2, and the finals held in Washington, D.C. The teams meet up twice a week to study and practice.
I feel being in JLab gives me ample opportunities to make friends and create experiences that I'll remember for a long time to come, and it'll help my knowledge going forth in JROTC.
The team's been hard at work prepping for the Level 1 test, which recently just passed, and hopefully, if all goes well, they can win the competition and bring back some honor for Buena High School.
During this pandemic, many small businesses have suffered and even gone out of business. But for this Sierra Vista woman, there's still work to do.
I like doing dressers. I feel like it's easy.
It kind of depends on the dresser. If I have like a set, it takes me like a day and a half. I get to be home. I'm always here for my kids, my husband. You know, it is worth it.
Ms. Hernandez has reupholstered many dressers for a lot of different people, and has been very inspiring to her son, Jonathan. My job was to paint the drawers while my mom painted the dresser and the knobs. This is a job that takes a lot of time and effort, but in the end is always rewarding. If you're ever in the market for a cool vintage dresser, maybe reach out to Ms. Hernandez on her next masterpiece.
Many people all over the country have already had both COVID vaccine shots. Could this vaccine make it safer for our country?
Arizona got its first shipment of COVID vaccines in mid-December. About a month later, over 60,000 people have had both vaccine shots. With so many people getting this vaccine, will people feel safer going out in public places again? Will teachers and students feel more comfortable with the idea of schools opening back up?
It'll be a lot safer than it is now. Although I think we are actually quite safe as it is. But the vaccine's going to be just another layer on top of that.
This last year has been very different for students, with adjusting to online school and not seeing friends as often. Will the vaccine allow students to socialize more?
Even with like just the masks, I felt safer when all the people have masks rather than everybody just walking around without masks, spreading the virus like they don't care. So yeah, with the vaccine, it'll definitely help.
This vaccine could create a great turning point for our country. With more and more people getting this vaccine, hopefully we can return to a more normal and social life. Everyone stay safe and healthy, and we'll see you next time.
Here at Buena, many clubs have either been canceled or changed because of the COVID-19 pandemic. One such club, which isn't the same as it was prior to COVID, is the National Honor Society. The National Honor Society is a prestigious club here at Buena. The NHS normally meets here in the library, but due to COVID, they have needed to make some adjustments. Alyssa Sachi is a new member who joined last year late fall.
To get into NHS, you have to have good character, good grades, and some community service experience. And so if you're good at that sort of thing, you have all the requirements that you need, then NHS shouldn't be that hard for you because you just have to show up to the meetings and get your community service hours done.
Normally, the NHS would be doing community service projects out in the community or here at the school. But now, the club has been reduced to meetings online and limited community service. But that's not stopping them from wanting to help out. The online meetings are much shorter than they used to be, but they still operate with them with the same grace and efficiency as they did when in person. Jay Gonzalez is the current president of Buena's NHS.
Normally in the club for National Honor Society, we've been responsible for holding the blood drive at Buena High School, but since no one is there in person, we can't do that. So a lot of our activities have either been virtual altogether, or other members have outside things like church or other organizations that they can get their service from, but it's a little disappointing we can't do it together.
Even though the members can't get their needed hours of service as a group, they still need to go out and find service themselves. Sadly, Buena is missing out on some special in-person events that our students can participate in that the NHS helps out with.
A few years ago, I attended a special prom for the kids in Buena High School with special needs, and that was one of the most fun experiences of my life. It was just so beautiful. We got to help set up in the beginning, so we put out food and things, and we had little makeup stations, and then just go dance, and it was so much fun. So I really wish we could be doing that as a club this year, or the Special Olympics, which is another event, which is pretty similar to special prom, except it's outside.
Hopefully, we will see the NHS back in person soon enough this year. Until COVID-19 goes away, we might have to wait a while.